We have.
Sir.
Did you find somebody in there who lost his wife and both of his daughters? Did you see that?
Oh, I didn't. I didn't see that. It was this YouTube.
Yeah, it was on YouTube. I gave him a little bit of an answer because he just asked me.
I can find it right
He
now.
said it was it had been several years, but he was just like basically treading water. And I told him, I said, dude, I said, it's been a year for me, and it's like Groundhog Day. Like every day that I wake up, it's like starting over, and I can't believe that any distance would. I mean, to lose my entire family. Like I still have my wife.
Yeah. Let me see if I can find him. Steve, if you get it first, throw it up. But so what was it like? Was it a car accident or something like that? What was the?
Uh, I think it was a car accident.
Let's remember this. Yeah,
I
Steve.
just
Let me.
remember that it just sometimes when you try to, it's so hard to type feelings, especially on that fucking YouTube. If you start like actually typing, it fucking like you can't see what you're typing. You know what I mean? You ever seen that? Like you
Well, it
start,
doesn't scroll down
yeah,
with
it
your
doesn't scroll
cursor. You
down with,
mean?
yeah, it doesn't stay with it, and you can't. You're like, ah, fuck.
You need to get an Apple
Yeah.
with
So,
that
so
Android.
you guys can use our fucking power cords.
So that's all changing now. All right. Well, we'll see if we can get him to come up. God, I don't even know what advice you could give with that. But
I was just trying. I mean, I was just trying to tell him that to just, you know,
I
I
think Kevin. I think I would. We're going here pretty early, but I there was that whole thing with you when you joked about the gun, right? Oh, I got a gun in my mouth, or whatever. And then the police showed up, and it made the news, right? That suicide
uh,
watch kind of thing. I mean, I
I
have
mean,
two kids. If ever I lost one, I
right.
have the other, and I would need to be strong for the other one. If I lost my family, Kevin,
You know what though? You're still, and it's as stupid as this sounds. When that lady was looking at my face 3 or 4 weeks ago, and she said, "I don't remember that being there." I said, "You know what?" I said, "I don't either." I said, "I was wanting you to check that." She said, "Let me do a biopsy and we'll send it off." Well, it came back and it was cancerous, so they set a and there's like it's I think a basal cell is what it
yes,
is.
yeah, that's what it's called. My mother had that on her nose and had to have a little
Yeah,
reconstruction.
and it's but it's not really a fast growing cancer, but it kind of it's almost like a planter's wort where it kind of has seeds. Like
She
it kind
couldn't
of
train either. They told her when they had to
yeah,
reconstruct the nose, and they could. She couldn't get plowed from behind.
it's
Was
common.
the
It's
problem?
common. But when it goes down and you hear that you have you've got cancer and they're going to have to do this procedure, all of a sudden all you want to do is live.
Mm.
And I think that's I don't know if that's just your primal mammal instinctual survival bullshit that's hardwired that you don't realize is there.
Yeah.
But I know that I've been, you know, if if death was on the Yahtzee game and it was chance, I've used mine fucking way too many times.
Mm.
But I still know that no matter what, um, I still look forward, even just sitting down with Lex and having a conversation for 2.5 hours and reminiscing and laughing and realizing what a blessed life I've had. It's like I don't want this to end.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want this to end. So I was trying to make that for that guy. Like, you have to find something to live for. You know.
Yeah. I think the Mike Graham first, of course,
Uh,
Eddie, and then Mike, and then the son, right? And
no, the
people,
son, then Mike.
the son, then Mike, right? Um,
And
I think,
I never understood that with Mike because Mike was a friend,
yeah.
and I was on my way home on a flight to Daytona Beach, and I was going to meet him for drinks that day that he did that.
Oh,
I was on my way to his hotel. He was down for Bike Week, and we were going to have drinks. And I went over to the hotel, and there was all kind of commotion going on.
holy
And
shit! I never knew that.
I found out it was Mike.
I think when suicide is in your family, it's much more on the radar as an option than for someone who's never that it's totally foreign to. I had a suicide in my family when I was young, and it made a profound impression on me in a very dark way. And I guess I was 83. I was 10 or 11, and and I would be lying if I didn't say at some seemingly impossible times in my life, it was on my mind. And I think it's because it had been introduced to me so young as something that I was forced to deal with, as was everybody in my family.
Yeah.
And so in the Graham situation, not coincidence, I think, that three of them, because it's something that's on the table. Because it's something they all had to deal with. I don't know.
Oh, I think Eddie was. I mean, especially when it's. I mean, to me, man, like a handgun is. To use a handgun or a shotgun or man, that's just
There's the how do I do it part of it, which
right.
is
Well, to me,
a
it's just
whole
like
other thing.
yeah, right. I mean, there's
You need a high success rate.
well,
You
I
need
mean,
you
yeah,
don't want to fuck this up, because then now you're alive, which you didn't want to be, and probably walking around with a hole in your head or your jaw or wherever you do it. So you got to there's got to be a high degree of proficiency if this is something you got to do. It's got to be a shoe in. Like these bridge jumpers, if they land and they're alive, that's a very uncomfortable 7 or 8 minutes there. That with the broken back and drowning. So I think that's a bad way. The shooting, if you don't
I
nail it,
I've always wondered like, is it worse to like get in a wreck and be on a back road mangled in a fucking car and slowly, you know, like that signs when when Gibson's wife is pinned against that tree and he goes down and sees her and they move the tree they basically or move the car, that's the only thing that's keeping her alive.
because everything, yeah.
Yeah, and that's when he loses his faith, and now it's back to the science fiction of the alien with his son. And but I always I wonder like what that because all your body has all those drugs that lets go at the end that you
Mm-hmm.
know and it's
Does it protect you in some way? Does it
yeah,
release stuff to keep you from fully experiencing what's happening?
and like did I ever tell the story about the girl that I met at a Comic Con that had lost her leg?
No, I don't think I know this.
I want to think her name's Savannah Welsh. She's an actress. She was on the DC. She was like the mayor on the Justice League. I'm sure Steve will probably know who she
Mm-hmm.
is. But beautiful, beautiful lady, sweetheart. And she was. We were signing in Indianapolis together, and she was getting off the bus, and I could tell she was kind of. I thought she had like a. It almost looked like she had a knee brace on, but it was actually a prosthetic leg that she had on with a cowboy boot, and she had a long skirt on, and
You
I
didn't
helped.
do the Mad Dog Vachon, did you?
No, I helped her down,
Okay.
and I just realized, like, so I went in, and I got a wheelchair, and just kind of helped her around the airport, get through TSA and all that other bullshit, so she
Mm.
didn't have to, you know, use a walker to get through. And she told me the story where she was out uh, outside of Austin, like 40 miles at some country fair, and some guy, older man, was driving a pickup truck, had like a medical stroke or something, and just railed the accelerator, and she just looked up, and her son was
Mm.
there, and she pushed her son out of the way, but it basically pinned her leg. It basically just smashed her leg to the bumper to the truck in front of it, and she went down. I mean, she was losing blood, and I guess there was somebody there that had some medical training and the service, and they were able to tourniquet her, and they got medevac, and they put her on the on the I don't know what that thing's called.
The flat back that.
Yeah, but it's the one that goes with the helicopter. It's almost like a cage type thing,
Okay, right.
and so the sides are open, and she's like in a kind of like a Black Hawk almost, and she's going, and she takes off, and she's up in the air, and all of a sudden, the guys are working on her over the top of her like this, and all of a sudden it's just like those guys start to get further and further away, and to her left hand side there's this really bright light that hits her, and it's telling her, like, just let go. Like, this is, she says, it's the warmest, most wonderful thing I've ever felt in my life. And she says, I was just gonna let go. And she's like, what? She said, no. Like, I gotta raise my kid.
Mm.
And the minute she made that decision, it was just like like a flash, boom, and she was back. And about that time, she looked out this other side, out her right hand side, and there was the brick of the hospital, and she was landing on top of uh, the hospital, and she was on the heliport. Zoomed her in. Next thing she knows, she wakes up, and she comes to, and on one end of her bed's her father, on the other end of her bed's her son. And she's like, wow, like, because she had no idea. It's like she didn't know he made it. She didn't know. She just knew
Mm.
she got, she took it. And her dad, like I said, you lost your leg, sweetheart. She said, she says, I didn't give a fuck.
Because she had her son.
Yeah, she's like,
Yeah.
I had my son, and life would go on. And that was one of the first times that, because I had always been like, when my father died, my mom basically just said, like that next Sunday came, because my dad always took us to church, and that next Sunday came, and my mom was like, "Fuck this! If there was a God, He would not take your father. We're not wasting time at church." And that was just kind of the way that that I perceived that for a very long time.
Your siblings at the time. Where are you in the chain? You're in the middle, or
On the middle,
right? So your brother's older.
yes.
Um, did he, when your father passed, did he have that loss of faith and that? I know your mother shepherding that, but where was
Did my
he with
did my
everything?
brother?
Yeah,
You know, we're both so young. I don't think that. I think that the worst thing that happened to my brother was 10 years old, and these assholes that worked with my father, and one of them was a neighbor, like basically like turned around as we're driving to our house to see our mom in all black, you know, and they just looked at my brother and they said, you know, like, you're the man of the house now. Like they put that fucking load on my brother
at 10.
at 10, and it fucked him up. You know, it was he had a hard. You know, it was just so fucking unfair.
Yeah, so young. I mean, your father was in his 30s,
Yeah,
36, right? That was
yeah, 36. Yeah,
insane.
but I mean, so like that happened, and it's just like